Gong Fu Tea. All right, so what is Gong Fu Tea? What makes it special? What makes it important? Gong Fu translates to with skill. Gong Fu Tea is very different, especially from an Americanized point of view where you have the tea bags. Gong Fu Tea always has loose leaf tea, usually pressed into a citrus ball or a ball of some sort, coin or cake that you break up, weigh. We'll get into all of that later. History. So the history of tea in general goes back to Emperor Shennong. I may pronounce some of these names wrong. He went by many, many, many names, among some of them being the God Farmer or the Red Emperor. He was known to teach agriculture and was known for his medicinal knowledge. He was the patron saint for medicinal herbs. With that, he had a see-through stomach, which he used to become very, very well known. He wrote the Divine Farmer's Herb Root Classic, which notates over 365 medicinal herbs and states that Shennong was the one who discovered tea, almost by accident. It says that at one point he was sitting beneath a tree, boiling water, when a gust of wind blew leaves into his boiling water and he drank it. And with his transparent stomach, he could see the effects that it had on the poisons inside his stomach, which inspired him to further his research. This, however, also ended up being his undoing. When I asked Miss Amy from Wise Tea House in Atlanta for the history of tea, she provided me with the Da Hong Pao, which is a tale for oolong tea. Which the Da Hong Pao translates to big red robe or scarlet robe, and it is a type of oolong that comes from the Wuyu area of China, which I believe is North China. And it is typically a tea house master's house blend, so to say. The story that she told to me started with the Ming Emperor's sick wife, who was so sick that no doctors could heal her, and a mysterious traveler brought her an herbal remedy, which was tea, and it cured her overnight. So as a gift, the Ming Emperor sent big red robes to cover the tea bushes that the tea came from, and it is said that you can still go and visit those exact tea bushes today. All right, etiquette. So the ceremony traditionally started during the Song Dynasty and was known as Gong Fu Cha. It has Confucian, Taoist, and Buddhist ties for mindfulness and overall respect. These are seen in the respect for elders, mainly being the younger serving the elders. And when you receive your serving of tea, you typically do a two-finger tap, your index, your middle, and your pointer finger, I believe. You tap those on the table to show gratitude to the host, and you accept your cup with both hands to show humility for yourself. Serving order is also important, with elders being served first, guests being served before hosts, and women being served before men. And savor the tea. Remember, slow down, smell it, take small sips. Just enjoy your time and enjoy your space, enjoy the feng shui and just the overall calmness of the environment. Tea making essentials. All right, obviously, to start off with, you need a teapot. The teapot is used for brewing your water. You put your loose leaf tea inside your gaiwan, and then you take the water from the teapot and pour that in your gaiwan. That is where you let your tea steep. You then would tilt your gaiwan lid to where it is slightly cracked and pour the water, straining the tea into the fairness cup. The fairness cup then is used to pour the steeped tea into each individual teacup, which rests on a tea tray. The accessories are used to make sure that the host does not directly touch the tea, the cups, or the leaves during this entire exchange. The brew process is very, very different from the American way of making tea. The American way being that you get your tea bag, you put it in hot water, you leave it alone for a couple minutes, you come back, drink your tea. With Gong Fu, it's just a giant variable. But overall, roughly, each tea you would steep for 15 to 20 seconds, and the lower temperature of your water would bring out less caffeine and a more sweet flavor, while a higher temperature will give you more caffeine and a more bitter flavor. This is kind of where the Gong Fu way comes into play, with it being that you learn it with skill. You learn what works best for you, what works best for your guest, and what works best for the tea in which you're using. I know some people who steep tea for 30 seconds at a time, and I know some people who will steep their tea for 10 to 15 minutes based upon what steep number it is, what kind of tea it is, and their own personal preference. Tea pets are auspicious representations. This little koi fish right here is my own tea pet. I was told pouring tea on him is a way to bring wealth or to wish for wealth, as koi fish and even the bunny represent wealth within the Chinese zodiac. This particular tea pet bunny is extra special because once you pour water on him to feed him, he changes color, as seen here. Tea types. There are 6 main tea types, with most American tea being within the red tea area. It is called red black tea because most people in China know it as red tea. Most people outside of China know it as black tea. Green tea is also very well known. It is one single leaf picked off, very minimal handling. White tea, my personal favorite, also has minimal handling and is dried naturally, and it has a soft, sweet flavor. Yellow tea is lightly fermented and tends to have a smoother, mellow taste. Oolong is often roasted, and oolong translates to black dragon and is a representation of how it looks. I've been told that it looks like a dragon tail, sometimes a little more curled, sometimes a little bit more straighter, but overall it looks like a dragon's tail. You have, like I said, your black red tea, which has an earthy, woody, or fruity depth depending on the region from which it comes from. And you have your dark tea, also known as pu'er, which is fully oxidized tea leaves. It is rich, malty, or honeyed notes within it, and it is the darkest roast or darkest tea that is offered. All of these teas have medicinal purposes. that vary within each tea. Overall, Gong Fu is a wonderful way to just calm down, lay back, chill, and enjoy conversation with other people who are like-minded. It's also different for everybody, and there are more contemporary versions of a traditional Gong Fu ceremony, and then there are others who very, very strictly follow the old school traditional set of standard skills, rules, guidelines, etc. In the beginning of this journey, I knew nothing. I didn't even drink tea. Now I have my own tea pet, I have my own tea setup, and I like aged white tea and pour.